Non-immigration visas. Non-immigration visas are one of a kind. They're designed to actually come in play when an actual individual that does not have any legal status in the U.S. or they just have a tourist visa or any kind of visa to be, but it gives them actually a few rights as a victim of physical or psychological abuse. Basically, it's to protect the victim from actually being deported or being actually, well, basically sent back into a hostile environment, meaning a spouse could be waiting for them, an acquaintance could be waiting for them in the country of origin. So it actually gives them some right to actually stay in the U.S. As long as they're actually cooperating with law enforcement if there's any kind of actual criminal activity being conducted. Um, Not to be confused with actual amnesty um, that actually occurred. For example, the state of Michoacan, like about 5 years ago, they actually were offering a certain type of amnesty for the fact that their actual state was being under siege, really, for the violence that it was actually occurring there. So that would be a different type of actual visa, but this would be a non-immigration visa. So apparently, three law enforcement um, from the Carolinas actually were facilitating Mexican drug cartel dope runners with protection. And you might think, well, how can three individual patrolmen actually facilitate this, right? Remember, there's way stations, there's actual checkpoints, and there's actual highway patrol, actual uh, mechanics in trucks on the highway, ready to check your vehicles for actual for your brakes, for any kind of mechanical discrepancy that they can find. The mechanics are actually getting underneath your truck and checking out, make sure that that truck is safe on the actual highway. So with these actual law enforcement, if they can actually get these semi trucks that jump that they need, that's that extra security through their county, that's going to help out drastically. And that's what ended up happening. But these guys were not Mexican cartels. These guys were actually FBI. Um, Again, they won't say exactly why they set up a sting like this, but you can get the idea of how I just explained it. So, therefore, why are the numbers so low in this actual county? Why are uh, why is every other county actually getting loads on the highway, but this county is not actually producing any kind of numbers? And that's what they base themselves off of. And they set this trap, and three actual law enforcement from the same station actually fell for it. And they were regular law enforcement. They were not federal, so regular law enforcement, and they actually fell for the ruse. And to tell you the truth, I don't know how this came to be, but there actually was an attempt to facilitate these cartel members with U visas, which is basically a non-immigration visa for money, exchange for money, right? So when this actually occurred, um, they were actually surprised. Actually surprised because these law enforcement would actually have to create a hostile environment for these individuals. There was only two of them um, on paper. So again, they don't go into detail exactly what they actually put on paper or on these actual forms, because there's actual an application for this. And if if a spouse, if a marriage is actually having physical altercations, that's when law enforcement would have to actually do this type of report to a kind of protect the victim from the actual aggressor holding that visa status over their head. Don't call the cops. If you call the cops, I'm going to tell you I hit you, and we're both going to get deported. That's how some actual offenders threaten their actual spouses. So for these actual individuals, I'm thinking that um, maybe a rival cartel was actually made up, fictitious, and they went along with it, and all three of them signed off on this actual application. And but by that point, the actual FBI was already involved, and again, they only got 3 years, 3.5 for one of them. So that's how a non-immigrant visa actually works. So these guys got caught. It was a setup by the FBI. They were actually under the impression they were running actual meth up north, and they were actually setting up a deal to where they were actually going to bring the proceeds money back the same way, and they were actually going to get reimbursed for letting the actual money get through their actual county. But yeah, these guys got taken down, and what else can you do? You know what I mean? So don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys.